Do you ever wish that ChatGPT sounded more like your brand voice instead of the AI garbage that it spits out sometimes? Unlocks, crafted, supercharged. We can see the AI language a mile away. And in the last 2 weeks, we've had clients come to us saying, Rob, I want to leverage my content with ChatGPT and scale it, but I need it to sound more like my brand voice so I can save more time. Can you help? And even when you give it your brand voice, the 5 to 7 keywords of what you sound like, it still doesn't completely hit the mark. So in the name of the efficiency, what we did is we went to the drawing board. And what I'm about to share with you is an absolute game changer. Completely game changed it for me, and it will for you. So what you're about to watch is a live stream where in real time, we go step by step of creating a brand voice glossary, a living, breathing document that you will create for yourself and your brand that you'll input into ChatGPT. And when you do, it will immediately level up your brand voice and your ability to scale your content and have it sound like you. If you're someone who wants just the end result, then go to the end of the video. But if you want to see the systematic formula of how we built this in real time and you can do the same, then watch this whole thing and let me know what you think, because this is going to change the game. The Brand Voice Glossary. Enjoy. I'm going to recommend that to get the most out of what we're about to experience, you do the exact same thing. So when you see what I do this for yourself, because we're going to create your own brand voice glossary. Or at least that's what we're going to attempt to do. All right. So I'm going to share my full screen. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff happening. All right. Here we go. We've got ChatGPT up right here. So the first thing that I'm going to want you to do is open up your best practices guide if you have one. If you have not, go ahead and you're going to want to create this where who you are. So for me, I'm just going to copy this in right here, who I am, drop this into ChatGPT. So that's context. Number 2 thing that I have right here is my brand voice. If you've not created this yet for yourself, here's my recommendation. What are 5 to 7 keywords of what you sound like? I ended up adding more of them, but this is something you can easily do with ChatGPT. Boom. Brand voice. Going to drop this thing right here. So this is all foundational context-oriented stuff. And I'm going to open up the post, which was the inspiration behind this. So right here, Mike, and if you're not part of our ChatGPT for Entrepreneurs and Creators group and Facebook, feel free to join. We will drop that in the link or in the chat. So Mike says, does anyone have a prompt guide that has worked really well for writing a clone on style and subject matter? He creates a lot of content and he wants it to mimic. And the 2 tips that I give are, number 1, create and tell more stories, because it's an immediate differentiator. Because as we've all experienced, ChatGPT likes to say unlock, supercharge, a few other words where it's an immediate, wait a second, this isn't how I talk. And you're going to see right down here, Leah agrees with the let's create a brand voice glossary, words or terms you can use often. So one of the things are, if ChatGPT says crafted, we can create a section that says, I don't say crafted, I use created. And I would recommend keeping track of all of these words, because if we notice this in our writing, why would we not create a document so we get it correct every single time? It's for the same reason why we create the best practices document. Hey, so I don't have to write this every single time. What Leah talks about down here is she says, keeping tabs on words you wouldn't say, perfect. And then also brand identity and brand voice in creating a speaking style prompt. So that's something that we'll eventually get to and see if we can create a combination of these things. So now for the instructions of what we want to do. And I'm just going to, and here's the tip, take what's in my head and get it out of my head in terms of what we want. So I want to create a brand voice glossary, a document that accurately represents how I talk in my content. This is like brand voice, even better and higher level. Because what we're really trying to do is amplify this brand voice side of things. The challenge. Cool. So I just wanted to get it information so that it starts getting this party started. Without going any further, I'm telling it, hey, this is what we want to do. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this is add in some articles that are going to give it context. And I'm going to ask it to tell me the brand voice. And we'll see sort of how this works right here. So best practices document, we're done with you right here. So I've got, I think, 3 or 4 articles up from Evernote. So I'm going to copy this and say, to article. In bullet points. Oh, so, all right, copy this and let's see what happens. So my recommendation for you is do this for yourself as well. And if you want me to, I'll drop the instructions in the chat and maybe this is going to help all of us. Secret to have call you dog. You're right, Jordan. And this is sort of where we can have some fun in terms of like, I got it or I got it dog. And I'm going to do my best to work in the chat and together with you in this. So there's my instructions for sort of what I'm doing with the prompts. For Jordan or anyone, if you have a suggestion, raise your hand and say, hey, Rob, I think it might work better this way. I'm definitely open to it. So cool. That's what I have there. And then here is prompt number 2. So we look here at the output. It says, based on the article you provided, here are the keywords for your brand voice: reflective, engaging, authentic, empowering. These terms can be leveraged as foundational pillars when creating your brand voice. All right, cool. I'm going to give it 3 of these because we're going to see what it does when it has more than one piece of content. So I'm going to copy this and I'm actually going to do the same thing. Copy this. I'm going to share with you another article. Boom. Exact same thing. Just going to share another one. And we're going to see this. And we're going to do this 3 times. And this is just for, let's call it depth of transformation, because we are not just one thing when we're talking about our brand voice. So, and I don't even know what the content was about that I shared. So the first one was about self-awareness. All right. So this is me as the personal growth side of things. What's up, Jenny? Good to see you.
Hi.
So quick update for you. What we are doing in real time is building a brand voice glossary to show us how we can create a more accurate brand voice, which is something that has been a challenge for very many people here. I encourage this to be interactive for you. So if you want to do this and catch up right now, all we added was step 1, who you are. Step 2, your brand voice. So copying that from your best practices document. And then in the chat, I dropped in for you the instructions of what to do first. All we are saying, this is what we're creating. And then it'll respond back with, I got it, dog. And then the second prompt, which is in the chat, is what we're doing. I would encourage you, if you want, to open up any articles or content you've created and drop it in there, because we're going to start feeding it context to tell us what it is that we sound like. Cool?
Cool. And can you please redrop those instructions in? When you join late, you can't see the past chats.
Good.
So sorry for joining late.
It is all good. Let me see if I can copy this. All right. So Jenny, can you see what I just put right there?
Yes, thank you.
All right, there's that. And then here is prompt 2. All right, cool. So based on this, it spit out our second one, and let's do this one more time. And my note for everybody in this is where a lot of people would probably just do surface level, but we're looking to solve a problem that is a problem for everybody. So I want to dig a little bit deeper than on the surface to get something that's really good. So here's the third article here. And this one's about world class. And one thing I was very intentional about is making sure I chose articles where I know I didn't use ChatGPT, because anytime from November until now, I may have used AI assisted. So I went back in my archives of Rob just writing like he normally does. So I'll get rid of this one because that's not necessary. All right. So let's look at the keywords that it's created for me so far. Actually, we've got all 3 of these. I'm going to see if it will put this into a document. So great. This thing is to take the words you just the all right. And I'm going to put this as the prompt 3 for you guys. And we'll see if this gives us the answer that we're looking for. So essentially what I wanted to do is to take all of these bullet points and aggregate them together so that we're going to see this. All right. So now we can see where we are here when you lay them out. So we'll see if it gives us some sort of context. All right. When you lay them out, certain keywords like reflective, engaging, and empowering emerge as consistent themes in your voice. All right. So here's the keywords for me. Consistent themes in your voice. I'm actually going to write this down and save this, because whether we create the end solution for ourselves right now or not, the term we just learned is consistent themes in your voice. And yes, we said brand voice, but I've never actually thought to myself, I want consistent themes in my voice. So with this right here, now just sort of let's shoot this from the hip. What do you guys think, or what would you explore next in this? All right, now that we've already put a brand voice, and we've got 3 different versions of this, we want to create the brand voice glossary. Speaking out loud, what would your logical thing be that you would do next?
I'd have ChatGPT create the prompt for me.
Explain that, meaning, are you going to use the term brand voice glossary, or?
Yeah, I'd say, kind of the parallel path that I've taken, which I'm about to press enter on, is basically, okay, now create a prompt for ChatGPT for this brand glossary, that each time I want to create content with you as my world-class content writer, you'll be able to use the prompt to match or get close to my voice in the content that we create. So guiding it as the prompt engineer with the information that it has.
Jenny, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I don't have any comments yet at this time. Sorry.
All good. I'm just sort of opening this. So Jordan, I love where you came at with this. My thought, or at least the track that I'm going to cook on, and we can do this on parallel paths. I'm going to wait before I ask it the prompt, because I believe there's some more that we could extract to make this better. So keep doing with what you're doing, and I'll see where this takes us. But I think, Jordan, you just opened up a big thing here, which is going to help everybody, is what is that prompt that's going to allow us to do what we're looking to execute here. So
one more comment on that, Rob,
Yep.
is I think the way that I choose to think about it is I'm always thinking in terms of what's the action that I want. Like everything needs to be related towards an action. Like it's great to have all these bullet points. It's great to have all these like keywords, but what are we actually doing with it? And like, where is it actually, where is it actually something that we're taking action on? And what's that output that we're looking for? So maybe to your point, there's additional pieces of this output that you're trying to formulate. So I'm curious to see where you go with that.
Yeah. So my mind, and I like this because there's two different trains of thought. I'm looking to create a brand voice glossary. So just like our best practices, with all of these bullet points, I want to be able to copy and paste this into ChatGPT as part of my best practices. And we've engineered this in such a way where we're at least getting this party in the right direction for it. So we'll see where this goes from here. Are you still able to see my screen? Because I've got a bunch of windows up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
we're good.
All right. So I'm going to create the brand voice glossary. All right. We'll see what this does for us. I'm not sure if this is going to be the right prompt, but I want to create this. So now we're just starting by defining a brand voice glossary because I don't even know if those terms have ever even been put together before. Could be completely normal or completely brand new. And this is going to sort of tell us maybe there's elements of a brand voice that we've been missing. So define core brand values, what your brand stands for. That's actually super interesting because we've been talking just about what I sound like, but we have not been putting in there our core values. Well, the good thing for me is I've got that. And this is sort of foundational to how I think about business and how people operate with me is my core values. So it's the very first thing that's on my about page is 8 core values that are foundational to who I am, because this is going to, you see this, you're like, boom, this is Rob. I get this. This is how we operate our business. So what I'm just going to do right here is copy and paste this. And if you don't have core values or listed, it's very simple. It's just like 8 things that are foundational to who I am in a sentence or 2 about each one. So we will save that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be entering that yet. So what in the world is this document? Strategic defines and captures the unique tone, style, and vocabulary that embodies a character and identity. So if I'm looking at this right here, I'm going to copy this because and throw this into a document because I think it's important, because what stands out to me is defines and captures tone, style, and vocabulary. Well, vocabulary is where we're going to come in. These are the words that I say often. And I don't know if there's an AI tool that does this yet, but in my mind, imagine a word farm or a word cloud of being like, Rob, aside from filler words, you say the word boom shakalaka 80 times. You say the word creator this many times. And knowing that, you could almost put like a weight on how often you're doing things. Brand character and brand identity. So this could be an opportunity to say, I don't have a brand character document. I don't have a brand identity document. And we're going deep here, but I believe it's because the solution that we're looking to solve, and certainly with Jordan, what you and Nick and so many of us have shared in terms of the process we're looking to create, it's worth doing an hour deep dive to save 10, 20, 50 hours on the back end when we're able to optimize this content at scale. So little upfront to get the back end. Reference guide, brand consistency. So this would be another thing in terms of our instructions. We would say to ChatGPT, I want to ensure brand consistency in how I'm doing things. So when it starts giving us incongruent words like delves or unlocks all the time, that's not consistent. So core values, brand voice pillars. These are the adjectives, clear descriptions. So this is the next thing we sort of unpack here. We've got these words of what this means, but it's saying we want the sentence for each of these. So that's actually something I'm going to add in there. For number 3, please resend the, what do we even call these things? Compilation of brand voice keywords, and make sure all right, so all I'm really asking it to do, and we could have just copy and pasted this, but here it is. So it's telling us, okay, it's writing this slightly different. If we'll see this, so reflective, delve deep into personal experiences, encouraging. Up here, what does it say? You often delve deep into personal experiences, encouraging introspection. So it just sort of, so Jordan has a glossary. Jordan, tell me, what does that mean that you have a glossary?
I got an output that I'm pretty excited about, and I'd be happy to share it if you want. And it kind of took a similar route as you, and then there was just one slight deviation.
Cool. I'm going to stop this. So what we'll do in the interest of keeping cooking, we'll jump over to Jordan, then we'll go back here for some alternative perspectives. Cool? All right, Jordan, go ahead.
Okay. So I basically had done the same thing as you. I gave 3 different posts, but I gave them at once instead of separately. So then all the keywords and explanations came at once. So I got authentic, engaging, informative, reflective, mindful, empathetic, inspirational, and then it talks about using these as the backbone, blah blah blah. I said I want the brand voice glossary, and then it said here's what it is, here's the best practices. And so then from there I said create a brand glossary based on my values, and then also I added some feelings that people should feel. I already have this on my best practices document, how I talk about myself in the brand, how my competition sounds, what our brand is not, what adjectives, and then who I sound like. And then it gave me this nice little glossary here that I think in my thought process, this seems like it would be great as a custom instruction.
Right,
personally.
100%.
So it's got parts of this that I think could go into how it responds. So like something like the do's and the don'ts.
That's good.
And then also the other stuff is more like just about me. So I think that makes it a pretty good.
So
I'll break this up and see how I want to use it, but I like it so far.
Jordan, I love that. If you could, there's some of the things in there like usage guidelines. That's a great term that I don't think we even thought of. So we'll wrap a bow on this at the end, but I think what you just shared has so much value from if you could just share the high level of the what I sound like people in the chat. And Crystal, if you can make sure at the end of this that you capture all of these things for us so that we can do something with them and make sure we don't lose it. Oh, awesome. So Jordan just shared his ChatGPT in the chat right there. If you want to see it, super awesome. Thank you for that, Jordan.
Sure.
You greatly accelerated things. So let's use what Jordan created to wrap a bow on mine, because I think we're going to land where Jordan just landed. So right here, it wrote our sentence with the description. So boom, this is where I'm going to add in my core values. And I guess the difference is Jordan did it, and we're going to break apart how Jordan just did what he did so that everybody else can follow along on that. So here are my core, all right, are my core values to add to, we are, so all I want to do is add that piece of content before moving forward, respond with, I got it, dog. Cool. So it's got our core values here. Brand voice pillars, it did that. Do's and don'ts. So with what Jordan did, I like this. I'm just going to copy what Jordan has. Do's. And Jordan, were these do's and don'ts what it created for you, or like did you just spit out the Brand Voice Glossary? Did you create
if you go up to this right here, I think this is really what became the impetus of that, where it was go up to the top of it. Here? Yeah, so when people interact, they should feel how I talk about myself and my brand, how the competition sounds. Our brand is not. Like those sections, I think, just having just some very simple stuff, and then the adjectives, and then the similar brand voices. So that having that, I didn't even answer directly their questions. And that's what I think is nice about having, like I had this stuff already in my best practices document in this format. And so I didn't feel like I needed to completely tailor it to their format. I was just like, I'm just going to give this to you and you may, fill in the gaps, which it's pretty good at doing.
Gotcha. So I'm just going to copy and paste what Jordan has here. When people interact with me, and of course for you, and what I'll end up doing at the end of this is share the exact prompt like what Jordan just did, so we can all see formulaically what this looks like, because I'll want to go back specifically, but in the name of speeding up, and I know Jordan and I are similar-ish in how we get down, but you're going to want to customize this for yourself. How the competition sounds, our brand is not. What adjectives describe my brand? And Jordan, looking at what you did here, so you didn't even ask it to do anything in your prompt. You really just gave.
But look at the bottom of that.
The recap, or
no, the bottom of this one. Oh yeah. So if you go up, I think before this one, what did I say to it? Oh yeah, it was just the same.
Cool. Well, we'll just drop this and see what this does.
Thought I had asked it something else, but maybe it's before.
All right, so it creates my Brand Voice Glossary, and while it's doing it, what we're actually going to see here is the difference between what Jordan's output looks like and what my output looks like, which may be relevant for everyone, because you're going to get a slight variation because it doesn't hit 100% every single time. So don't need those documents. So we got core values, brand experience. So
Brand feel.
yeah, brand feel, communication style, differentiation, brand self-representation, perception of brand. So perception of competition, differentiation from competition. All right, so we're starting to see some slight things. So what I like about Jordan's is I'm going to take some of these and make them mine in terms of I like brand feel. I like communication style, differentiating, not the brand, content, language, and guidelines. Okay. This is actually really good here because it says use you and we more than they, or certain things, usage. Great. And then it says down here in Jordan, yours, sample content pieces, share more things that you can give with it. So this is a living, growing document where we may use this thread itself on an ongoing basis. But actually, I think what we're going to do is see if we can create the super prompt like Jordan originally wanted. That'll be version 2 of the here's our Brand Voice Glossary. This was good, but can be better. There's some, are we going to call those high level categories? So would we call this a category, or what would we call this the thing at the top?
Well, if you go to the top, it says brand characteristics. I don't know if that's
high level.
That might be what they're referring to, what I gave it. So yeah, it could be categories.
All right. So what did I like from Jordan? And I'm just going to do it. Core values. Brand feel. I like that it added the emojis. That made it more fun. All right. Communication style. See, Jordan, your output was much better than what it ended up giving me. Differentiation from competition. And then we'll see if there's anything that we like, not the brand. Look already how much better we are than when we just started with just a brand voice with 5 to 7 words. Like, this is light years better. Implementation of similar voices. I'm not going to use that one yet because I didn't add that. Content, language, and guidelines. Usage guidelines. Do's and don'ts. Tools used and recommended tools that align with the freedom. Do you think this one's a value at all? Jordan, Jenny, anyone? Tools and technologies, use and recommend tools that align with the values.
Well, that's again basing off of my posts that I have, because I have some posts where I talk about different things that I use. And
gotcha.
That's a core part of what I talk about.
Cool. All right. So now we're gonna
and I would say, dude, for you, how could that not be the case? Like tools and things that you recommend to people.
Yep.
Tools and technologies, like literally this your entire business is how to use a certain tool. So, and like if you bring in new different AI stuff, it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe it's not so much about the values of freedom and flexibility, but sharing your personal experience using tools, that's like literally what you do, I think.
Yep. So I'm actually going to just put right here this, and if this one messes up, I might does that align with,
or maybe you can add your values.
Core values.
With my core, you can even say like with my core values.
Yeah.
Above with my core values above.
Yeah, there we go. All right. And then regular check-ins. All right, that's another thing, is it's sort of like the update of this in-action sample content pieces. All right. We'll see this. Instructions, recreate the new class. So what we're really seeing here is collaboration in real time and this is perfect because we're showing you how we would do it. Jordan did it differently and created a better result. And one of the things about ChatGPT is context. We can take what anybody else has created, copy and paste it, and put it into what we're doing. So we're going to recommend you look at what Jordan's doing, boom, you can copy that. You can look at what I've created, copy that. But now we are going to have a significantly better and easier way of doing all of this. So it ended up giving me a similar thing as Jordan's. One thing that I do like stylistically, hey, bold the bullet point and then give me this. It did do that. You can say use emojis. Just got to be careful in case the chaos goes high when there's just emojis out the butt. It's a pain in the butt to edit a LinkedIn post where there's like 38 emojis and you're just deleting all of those things. Bless you. Or if that was a fly or a bug.
No, I tried to mute, but I couldn't even find the mute button before that happened.
All right. Great. And each one of these things in here, we can actually build out more. So when I look at our usage guidelines, this is going to be a super robust one. We're just showing version 1.0 of this, that I would want 10 do's and probably 20 don'ts. Don't use. So, all right. Terms ChatGPT uses often. Let's see. Besides, all right. So now we got a Reddit thread of all of the people. Besides overall, what does it do? All right. That wasn't it. Maybe we can ask ChatGPT. 100 terms explained. 41 terms. Word chat uses often. All right. Oh, a set of favorite words. All right. So there's the apologies. It's important to understand. So what we could end up doing is copying some of these words, hotspotting. Granted, each person has a different use case. So we may, like for me, unlocked and delve and crafted show up all the time. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but that's what I would do for the do's and do nots. So with this enhanced brand voice glossary, every piece of content, every interaction, every recommendation will be authentically and consistent, echo my unique voice and vision. So cool. I feel good with what we've created right here. We are significantly better. Do we want to try and create the Jordan prompt now of how we can add this in? Or Jordan, I'm curious, what are your next steps in this now that we've got this?
Yeah, I asked for a prompt that was consolidated and I didn't really get what I wanted. It essentially just it gave me a paragraph of each of these different or maybe I can just show you what I'm doing and that'll make it easier because I'm trying to explain it like almost theoretically. So I said, now use this brand glossary to create a consolidated prompt that I can give to ChatGPT at the beginning of our co-created content sessions so that ChatGPT sounds as much like me as possible when creating and repurposing content. It should incorporate the essence of the brand glossary in a digestible way for effective content creation. My goal is as minimal effort editing content that ChatGPT creates as possible. And then it kind of just gave me, you know, like paragraphs of what it has up here, which actually ended up making it longer. So even though I said consolidated, it almost like made it longer, which is fine. But then I get this back and my first thought was, okay, well, I understand that I could give ChatGPT a bunch of this stuff, but like, what am I missing? What else is this prompt missing that would make it better and give ChatGPT more context to know what to create? And now it's giving me like, hey, here's all the things that I need to create a good piece of content. And so I think my thought from here is, I mean, there's so many different ways you can go, but I want to still try to get maybe, I don't know if it makes sense to try to consolidate this down to a certain number of words, or if it makes sense to, you know, what would be interesting is I would love to have like a fill in the blank version of this. So okay, so here's what I would do. So I'd say, based on these 10 different aspects, create a blank template that I can use with a brand glossary prompts so that ChatGPT knows exactly what to create and incorporate components in a way that makes sense. I don't know, I would just do something like that and see what I can get. See, now it's going back up to the brand glossary and creating them. Which is not really what I wanted.
Yep.
So I'll stop sharing because I'm gonna work on this for a bit, but I might re-put that. I might re-put those 10 things in there and then say we need, re-prompt it so that it can give me.
Gotcha. All right. So Jordan, while you're cooking on this, here's what I've got. So I went back to the ChatGPT post, and what Leah said here is brand identity and brand voice. So we hadn't explored brand identity, and I just wanted to know what is brand identity? And this is the visual side of the representation. So makes the brand memorable and the values and stories and the essence. So brand story, so this term right here resonates with me, brand's value, story, and overall essence in a manner that resonates with the audience. So I'm just going to put that into a document as another term that I like. Visual element. Yes, ChatGPT can now add the visual side of things, but I don't think that's what we're looking for. Brand messaging, tagline, and brand story. All right. We've skirted around this, but if we're looking at depth of this, do you have a tagline or is there a story? We talk about the history, missions, and values. This is a depth thing. Physical, no. Digital, no. Brand guidelines, detailing how to use the brand's elements to ensure consistency. What do I need to give you to create this? Inspiration. I don't think this is the answer of what we're looking for. So I'm going to scrap this right here. Jordan, in my mind, when you're talking about turning this into a prompt, I think that might be misplaced focus because all we've got to do is copy and paste this in there, like you said, in the custom instruction. And I believe that solves it for us. What we might want to do is say, how can we have you tell me when we are off of brand voice? So that's the negative. So when we look at our teams executing this content, whether that's us or them, they need to edit this being, like you said, crafted, not created. Well, can it tell us how to do that? So let's try this. So, all right, let's give it a piece of content and see. Let me see if I can find one that. All right, let's jump in this and see if I've got a piece of content. All right. All right, here we go. Nope, that wasn't. That's website there. I'm trying to see if I can find. Try this one. Hold on one second. My front door is unlocked and the babysitter just arrived.
I'll take over for 1 second because I just had a breakthrough here. So one of the things that came up for me was when I went back to what we were talking about before, which was basically giving me the wrong, not necessarily the wrong version, but it was focusing on the wrong thing. And Rob, I saw that you just got back. What I was trying to do was get a fill in the blank template so that each time I want to create content with ChatGPT, I know what the specifics I need to give it within those 10 components. And then those will be fill in the blank for 2 different situations. One, I can customize each time I'm feeding ChatGPT content to repurpose. to when I'm having it create content from scratch. Now, on top of that, I layer the custom instructions of the brand glossary. So I have the brand glossary in custom instructions, and then I basically give it this and have it fill this out for either fill this out for me or pick which ones of this I want to use. And some of this, like desired tone, would actually already come from the brand glossary. So maybe I even take that out. But I have a content calendar, and the way that I think about content is splitting it into a pillar, a topic, a type, where they're at in the funnel, and the CTA. So I would also add those things in here. And that way, each time that I'm creating a post, I'm touching on those specifics with the input that I'm giving it with the custom instructions layered on top of it.
Yep. I really like that. That's powerful. And I think, Jordan, what's going to be valuable is once we get to the end of this in the next 10 minutes, we're just going to both share both of our prompts, and everyone can cook with the various things. Because I think you're on the right track in terms of like a self-auditing framework. And I've done that in ChatGPT before to say, these are the things that I want to make sure to hit. Please identify these things. So let me show what I created right here to see if we're going to get closer. So I said, what I want to do is know when ChatGPT creates an output that uses words that aren't aligned to my Brand Voice Glossary to start. Here's a piece of content to use to create or audit this. So, and this came straight from ChatGPT. Areas for improvement. All right, here we go. So it said, "Hey there, beautiful people." This is a great example because I would never start something with "Hey there, beautiful people." Emoji usage overall. So it was all around areas of improvement here. This didn't get this was confirmation bias, essentially. It's like, oh, you did all of these things because that's how it's saying this. So I guess from my standpoint, this is a good check mark of this. What would we want to do to improve this? Jordan, do you think it's the way that you templatize this, or do you think there's something better that we can do from an auditing standpoint?
Well, I think you want to know, is that something that you're like, what's the action that you're getting out of this? Is it that you get a post back and then you're using this to self-audit and then change? Or you're trying to train it for future posts? Like what's the action?
I think we're thinking about our team who is editing this. Right? Okay. So it's like, instead of our team having to read, "Hey there, beautiful people," can we create a system where it underlines, "Hey there, beautiful people," to where, because this isn't going to be perfect, right? And we're already so far advanced in what we're doing right now. So we're looking to shrink down the editing time to even less than everybody else is, almost to a point where we can say, you know what, we're good at the 90% version where we're just proofreading it now. So maybe instead of 10 minutes, it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes here. That's what's on my mind right here. So it didn't give me.
So would you use that then to say, hey, based on the areas of improvement, create a new post with those areas improved? Or like how, like, would you just have your editors do that or your assistants do that?
So let's all speak this out loud of like, this is the process that we're all going to use to scale our content and our coaching based on all of our inputs and outputs. So what would, like, let's assume we're doing this because our time's the most valuable. What would I want in the post is I would love to read it and approve it, and in under 5 minutes, ship it for my team to publish it. So in theory, I could If it takes 5 minutes, 60, I could publish 10 blog posts in 1 hour from an editing standpoint, in theory. Like that would greatly. So in 3 hours, you could have an entire month of on brand content on the highest level. And really, I would say, does that even matter? Or are we good enough at this version right here? Like, do we feel like we're significantly better than where we were? Do you feel like there's a hole in our game right now?
I think part of that practical application is like you from here going into custom instructions and adding it and trying it.
Yep.
So like seeing how far off it is, because the entire self-auditing process is based on how far off it is every time. And so I would focus more on the input of getting something better out rather than having it. I mean, having the self-auditing is good at some level, but I think figuring out how to give it better input so that there's less self-auditing that even needs to happen. That's the ideal.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have it create a piece of content right now. Write me a 500-word post that I will publish to my newsletter. Be about and we'll just see what this does. All right, so this will be our first test. Boom, right out of the gate, it failed. Hello, incredible community, right? So, all right, here's our first thing is first line introduction. Well, why is it doing this? Because in my Brand Voice, it says friendly, personable, engaging, relatable. Like, so this is its way of saying that. Next thing, if you've delved deep, all right, within the first 8 words, it's already failed twice. You've undoubtedly, another fail. Vast array of advice on morning routine. It's like, it's way high level. To the mandatory, from meditation to journaling to that mandatory cup of lemon water, it feels like there's a prescriptive checklist. All right, that's kind of funny that it said mandatory cup of lemon water. Like it sort of gets the orbit here, awaiting us each dawn. Okay, so here's what we're going to want to think about here. We're seeing where it's messing up. What are we going to do as if we are our team to make this better? So maybe it's not a bad thing. What if there's only five words that we've had to change? Recognize that every morning is not just any routines, but okay. So here's an interesting thing: the power of yes and. Now I'm not advocating for tossing out morning routines altogether. So it took on the persona of me as if I'm writing that. That's actually, I really like the way that it did that. This made this feel way more personable. Hey, now I'm not opposed to this. So really what we would want to do is make sure that it's not saying that I'm opposed to certain things. Stay committed because it worked once. Morning routines are at their core. It's not about checking off. All right, in closing, well, I encourage you to think about, all right, I like that. This here is where I'm seeing the voice shine. Elevate beyond routine. Life isn't about going through the motions. All right, don't use semicolons. That's adding in there. All right, dive. It's about forgetting the right one each side. Okay, I think this was actually okay, despite the fact that it failed right out of the gate. It's just there's a few terminology side of things. So will a replay be available? Yes, Mandy, there will be one. I will send the link to it. And thank you so very much for attending. We are here to help. So hit me up after this, whether it's on Facebook or DM somewhere, and I will send you this link. Jenny, any thoughts on what we would do to improve this, or how do you feel about sort of the output without us reading everything?
I actually thought this was very interesting to watch. There's a lot of things I learned, and I've updated my custom instructions a couple times, and now I can see the possibilities of yet another update. Gosh, there are so many takeaways from this. But one thing is, I'm having that same problem. I think I've been trying to crack this for a couple weeks, a few weeks. The brand voice, the glossary, the words that they choose to use. I just keep having to go in and autocorrect. But it's interesting to see you're having some of the same issues too.
Yes. And all it means is it's not perfect, but it's getting us significantly closer to where we want to go. So now that we're wrapping up time on this, here's what we created. We just opened up a brand new Pandora's box, the Brand Voice Glossary. So previously we've been slinging, how do I get it to sound like me? 5 to 7 keywords. We're about to be like, yo, dog, that's just like, so you don't sound like a robot. This is if you want to scale your content. So this to me is everything of why I wanted to create this call. I didn't know, I'm not romantic about these Thursday calls, the brand building and content, but this has come up 3 times in the last 2 weeks. And clearly everybody wants to solve this. We are at the top of the food chain. We are best in the world at what we do. And I don't know anybody else helping people do this. So my takeaway is we just created a brand new part of our best practice.
Yes. Love it.
So in the chat right now, if you want to copy it, I just dropped the link to my ChatGPT chat. Jordan did his as well. I would encourage you to copy, paste, and save those, because you can literally copy and paste everything that we did and create your own brand voice glossary. So Kevin, Ryan, thank you so very much for being a part of this. Crystal, you too. Jenny, what did you create?
A way to actually create a brand voice glossary. This is exactly what I needed. I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Awesome. And this is the type of things that we create every single week in our ChatGPT growth program. I just dropped the link below. It's every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's $97 a month, which is $25 a week. And in it, you get personalized time to talk about your problems and what you would love to create. And myself and my partner, Zach Hughes, do it with you. If you enjoyed this, we would love to have you part of the program. Other than that, thank you very much. I will see you in the Facebook group or in Discord or on the calls next Tuesday. Have a great rest of your day. See you, Jenny.
Bye.